Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Prerna Desai on warehousing and collateral management. All yours, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. And I would like to, first of all, thanks for giving us the opportunity to make the presentation. Just a little background. I've been doing commodity research for over 2 decades now. And from that background, I make the presentation over here. मैं IPJ के सारे सदस्यों को बधाई देना चाहूँगी कि मैंने कई तरह के कॉन्फ्रेंसेस अटेंड किए हैं और शायद पहली ही बार हो रहा है कि ट्रांसलेशन अवेलेबल किया गया है। मुझको लगता है कि इस तरह की फैसिलिटी हर कॉन्फ्रेंस में होनी चाहिए। राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय ट्रेंड्स की जानकारी भारतीय भाषाओं में मिलनी ही चाहिए। एडलवाइस ग्रुप का नाम मेरे ख्याल से I believe name of the Edelweiss group is not very unfamiliar with the esteemed audience that we have over here. But I would like to cover a little bit about our total group and the new initiative that we've taken. Edelweiss Group, as you all know, is basically, they began with the financial markets. We have very strong presence in broking, wealth management, asset management, mutual funds. There is life insurance, credit, section also. And in last few years, we have developed this strong arm which is into commodities. Agri-commodity distribution is the arm that you are familiar with and I guess has a lot of business with. But I'm here in precious metal. Edelweiss has carved a niche for itself and is a very established benchmark brand. Agri-credit and services is the new arm that has come and it was initiated in September 2014. There are long-term value drivers I'm sure you all are familiar with because you've been doing business. Scalability, sustainability, management quality, governance, profitability are some of the long-term values. I would like to cover a few points on the agri services and credit section. We've initiated our operations in end-to-end solutions. As we know that theses have been written about how there are gaps in the Indian agricultural sector as such, the warehousing, the quality, the management, etc. There are a lot of loopholes and Edelweiss Agri Credit and Services intends to plug those gaps. So warehousing, procurement, collateral management, and there are other services like grading, sorting, creating logistics is what we intend to provide, and we've already begun our operations. It's a one-stop shop. All kind of services are available at one place, and that saves a lot of time, energy, funds, etc. So there is we facilitate cost-efficient procurement, financial solutions through banks. We have reliable agri research, the section that I represent. We provide logistics support. There is assured quantity and quality, etc. As you can see, in the short span of around 1.5 years, or little less than 2 years, we have presence pan-India. Head office is in Mumbai, but there are 16 states across which we have the presence. There are state offices, cluster offices, location offices. There are quality laboratories that we have established in various parts. We have the port capabilities also and have the presence in all the major ports around the country. Quality labs are across the country. There are around 23 quality labs, and we have the testing capabilities for food grains, oil seeds, pulses, cereals, etc. The list is in front of you. In the inaugural session, we discussed about how the fumigation in pulses was a sensitive issue a few years back. And I would like to draw your attention to the fact that we have the facility of fumigation under sheets using aluminum phosphide for pulses. There are other measures as well. Being the warehousing and collateral management company, we have the facilities of professional warehousing as well as the collateral management. The best management practices are adhered to, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with these practices, so I'll not go into the detail given the time restriction. The stacking practices are very technologically efficient. The professional people are handling it and correct methods are established. There is maintenance of it. There is periodical maintenance of warehouse structures and other facilities. Audits are conducted regularly. As we know, that's a very crucial part of warehouse management. There are audits and there are checkpoints. There are a lot of IT-related capabilities that we are getting into that will allow us to, monitor from point to point, that will allow the clients to monitor their position from one place to another. Now, this is my favorite part. Being the research head that I am, I was saving some time to, give a couple of slides on the research observations and analysis that we have done. I'm sure many of you are getting our reports, and I do get a very positive feedback on the pulses reports that we have been releasing. We have daily reports, weekly, monthly reports. We conduct regular crop surveys to get the supply side closer to reality. And that's our routine work. There are price polling facilities also that we provide either to the banks or to our sister companies to arrive at accurate evaluation and accurate valuation of the stocks. We have conducted the construction of value chain of all the commodities practically, and this is how the pulses value chain looks like. The numbers that are used are of 15-16 marketing year, though it was not a very benchmark year, but being the latest, we've taken these numbers. And this is how the value chain moves. And I'm sure being part of the value chain, you are familiar with how the value chain works. But I would like to present to you a particular, quantified, researched slide in front of you as to what quantity stays with which value participant. The next slide shows the consolidated number of the previous slide, and as we can see that trader and processor is the biggest value chain participant in quantity terms, I'm sure even at the valuation terms. The purpose of constructing the value chain is, of course, identifying the requirement of warehousing as well as, financing requirement at each stage of the value chain. The average holding periods ranges from 2 months to 12 months with each value chain participants. This particular slide I would like to, though the presentation was not research-based, I thought that it will be an interesting slide for most of you, most of the people who are importers. So for foreign national also, supplier also, this is an interesting slide. And I'm sure those of you who import very regularly would be interested in this slide. What I have done is that we have last 4 to 5 years monthly import number sourced from DGCIS. And the dotted line that you see in purple is the whole data is converted into index so that there is some clarity and you can get a trend. So the purple line is a consolidated index, seasonality index of imports. I would like to underline the fact that these are only imports. And we can see that being in February that we are, from here on, the imports continue to increase. There is a peak that's emerging in the month of July, and the most of imports happen in the last 3 months or 3 to 4 months, September to October, November, December. Moong and urad are the exception for obvious reasons because we import most of it from Burma. But for all the other pulses, of course, you would notice that we have not taken minor pulses or the mixed pulses. These are only HS code-based information that is available. Of course, urad and moong, I believe the HS code is same. So we have done some calculation in that section, but all the other numbers are actual numbers. And we see that most of the imports peak in the month of September, October, November, and December. Last year was peculiar for chana because of the huge imports that we received. But even if we were to remove that particular peculiarity of 2015, most of the trend will emerge like this only, and that's why the averaging part is done so that peculiarities get suppressed. And we believe that 2016 also will see similar kind of trends. I would like to end with this slide of the capabilities that we have created in less than 2 years. The warehousing area is more than 5.5 million square feet. Number of warehouses are more than 250. Capacity is 1 million ton plus. We are empaneled with banks. The quantity handled so far increases is in north of 2.5 million tons. Number of commodities handles are more than 65. We have a strong manpower of 550 northwards. Number of warehouse audits are conducted very routinely. And that's it about the company that I represent, the commodities that I represent, and some of the observation through the mammoth research that we do. For any kind of business inquiries, I request you to get in touch with Mr. Ram Sharma. For any kind of research inquiries, you can definitely get in touch with me. I'm Prerna. Thank you all.
Any questions for Ms. Desai? Mr. Jitu Beda, may I please request you to step up on stage? That's right. Thank you, ma'am. Would you step up in front?
There are two interpretations.
No. It's always the good interpretation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our look forward to presentation. This is the country presentation, which will be presented by ETG. Before we start, we'd like to thank ETG for a great last evening's dinner and a fantastic entertainments program. And of course, congratulate once again Mahesh Bhai for his receiving the award for his contributions to the industry. With that, it's time to welcome the CEO, Pulses and Sesame for ETG, Mr. Jayesh Patel.
The chairman of IPGA, the committee members, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today I'm going to present the Pulses East Africa, and presentation is being divided little bit informations in two parts. One is the information about Africa, and followed by the Pulses in East Africa. To begin with, the Africa in general, if you look at the agriculture is a key sectors in the most of the African countries. I have not taken all of them. I have just taken the few countries which are the important and having the political stability. Just to give you a bit of a brief idea about the thing, the continent has 60% of the world's potentially available arable lands. More than 60% of the African populations is employed in agriculture sectors. Agriculture is a key activity in Africa. If you look at the CAGR of the 2000 to 2010, and that is a compound annual growth rate, which is the country like South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda are generally on an average, they are growing at 10%. In short, I would like to say that the Africa has a huge potential and it's growing every year. We've been talking about the potentials of Africa on agriculture sectors. These are the few comparisons that I have made for just for the information. Is that the area of the cultivations for the key countries producing the pulses actually are not taken all of them. In 1990, the Ethiopia was cultivating 5.1 million hectares. Today in 2011, that they are cultivating about 15.7 million. Similarly, in Tanzania, if you look at the growth in 1990, there was 3.3 millions. It has gone to 13.3. So there are the countries like Ethiopia and Tanzania has achieved a significant achievement in the cultivation sectors. Now, this chart shows the available land versus what has been cultivated in Africa. So if you look at in Ethiopia, the total available land is 35.7 million hectares, as opposed to it's been only cultivated about 15.7. Country like Mozambique, it has about 49.4 million hectares, while the cultivating land as of now is only 5.4. This particular chart clearly indicates there is a huge potential that we have it in agriculture sectors. Now, coming back to the main subject, the pulses as such, the East Africa